To aid all may I become Buddha in the Buddha's Dharma and Sangha. Until enlightened I seek refuge through merit from giving and the rest. To aid all may I become Buddha. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and its causes. May all sentient beings never be parted from sorrowless bliss. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from bias, attachment, and hatred. To the founder, the endowed, transcended destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcended destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer of the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed, transcended destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcended destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer of the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed, transcended destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcended destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer of the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When, O supreme among humans, you were born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who were wise, then I prostrate. With pure bodies, formed supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With the supreme signs, face like spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Dust free like you, the 3 worlds are not, incomparably wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the founder having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you the one gone to thusness I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dharma that pacifies I prostrate. Those who are liberated and who also show the path to liberation, who we feel qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you the sublime community intending virtue I prostrate. Homage to the Supreme Buddha, homage to the Dharma refuge, homage to the great Sangha, to all 3 ever devout homage, to all worthy of respect, bowing with bodies as many as all realms, atoms, in all aspects, with supreme faith I pay homage. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions. Perform only perfect virtuous actions. Subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a mirage, the flame of a lamp. An illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble. A dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud. See conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the foe of faults, and be delivered by samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. From Tushita's hundreds of God's protector's heart, to tip of this fresh, pure, white heap, curd like cloud, Olo Sangrakpa, Dharma's omniscient king, pray come to this place with your disciples, in space ahead, on lion throne, lotus and moon, venerable Guru, smile brightly with delight, pray stay hundreds of eons to spread doctrine as supreme merit, field for my mind of faith, your wisdom virtues, your beauteous body, fame, glory, outstanding. Homage to you, worthwhile to think of, hear and see. Pleasant offerings of water, various flowers, fragrant incense, light perfume, and so on. Oceans of offerings set out and envisioned, offered up to you, supreme field of merit, non-virtue committed with body, speech, and mind, which I have heaped up since beginningless time, especially what has contradicted three vows. Each I confess from my heart with strong regret. In time of strife you strove to learn and practice, shunned eight mundane concerns, made life essence full. O protector from depths of our hearts, we rejoice in your powerful great deeds. Venerable gurus from love and wisdom, clouds densely massed in your Dharmakaya sky, pray loose a rain of vast profound Dharma on fields of disciples just as needed. May whatever virtue here gathered bring benefit to all beings and doctrine, and may it make Venerable Tsongkhapa essential teaching specially shine forever. Ligmate say wei ter chen rezig, dreame kien pei wang po jam tel yang, du pung malu jom ze sang wei dag, gan chen ke te tsu gen Tsongkhapa, lo sang drag pe jab la sawade. O glorious and precious root guru, pray take seat of lotus on my crown, caring for me with your great kindness. Bestow attainments of body, speech, and mind. O glorious and precious root guru, pray take seat of lotus at my heart, caring for me with your great kindness. Bestow attainments common and supreme. O glorious and precious root guru, pray take seat of lotus at my heart, caring for me with your great kindness, until supreme awakening remain steadfast. Homage to the exalted three jewels. Thus have I heard at one time, the Blessed One was dwelling in Rajagriha on Vulture Mountain, together with a great assembly of monks and a great assembly of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One was absorbed in the concentration of the countless aspects of phenomena called profound illumination. At that very time, the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the great being, was looking perfectly at the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom, perfectly looking at the emptiness of inherent existence of the five aggregates also. Then, through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said to the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the great being, how should a child of the lineage train who wishes to engage in the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom? Thus he spoke, and the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the great being, replied to the Venerable Shariputra as follows. Shariputra, whichever son or daughter of the lineage wishes to engage in the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom should look perfectly like this, subsequently looking perfectly and correctly at the emptiness of inherent existence of the five aggregates also. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form, form is not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, like this, all phenomena are empty without characteristics. That is, they are not produced and do not cease. They have no defilement and no separation from defilement. They have no decrease and no increase. Therefore, Shariputra, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no compositional factors, no consciousness. There is no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visible form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object of touch, no mental phenomenon. There is no I element and so forth, up to no mind element, up to no element of mental consciousness. There is no ignorance and no cessation of ignorance and so forth, up to no aging and death and no cessation of aging and death. Likewise, there is no suffering, no origin, no cessation, and no path, no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Therefore, Shariputra, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and abide in the perfection of wisdom, and because their minds have no obstructions, they have no fear. Passing utterly beyond error, they attain the final state beyond sorrow. All the Buddhas who reside in the three times by relying upon the perfection of wisdom become manifest and complete Buddhas in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, and complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, surpassed mantra, the equal to the unequaled mantra, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, since it is not false, should be known as the truth. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is proclaimed. Tayata, gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhisoha. Shariputra, this is how a bodhisattva, a great being, should train in the profound perfection of wisdom. Then the Blessed One arose from that concentration and said to the superior Avalokiteshvara, the bodhisattva, the great being, well said, O child of the lineage, so it is. The profound perfection of wisdom should be practiced exactly as you have taught, and the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, the Venerable Shariputra, the superior Avalokiteshvara, the bodhisattva, the great being, and the entire assembly, as well as worldly beings, gods, humans, demigods, Gandharvas, and others, were filled with admiration and highly praised what had been spoken by the Blessed One. In the holy supreme abode of the Dakinis, possessed of clairvoyance and miraculous power, unwaveringly caring for practitioners as your children, homage to the hosts of the three places Dakinis. Tayata om gate gate paragate parasamgate bodhisoha. Through the power of truth of the exalted three-jewel speech, may all on the side of negativity, such as the four maras, be stopped. May they become non-existent. May they be pacified. All enemies, obstructors, and hindrances, shanti kuriye soha. The 80,000 types of obstructors pacified, freed from adverse harmful conditions. May all be conducive and perfect auspiciousness. Bring happiness and well-being here right now. Saji perki jukshing me to kraham ri prabling ji ni degen padi sangye jingdu nikte ulwar yidro kunamdan jingla chirpasho Jeksun Lama Dampa Churdan soki chognam la, jancho bardu dagni kapsuchi, dagi churnyen gi pesonam ki, krola penchu sangye parshu. Churdan soki chognam la, jancho bardu dagni kapsuchi, dagi churnyen gi pesonam ki, krola penchu sangye parshu. Churdan soki chognam la, jangchu bardu dagni kyapsuchi, dagi churnyen gi pesonam ki, drola penchu sangye parshu.
Good morning, everyone. It's cold outside.
Really cold in Gloucester. The sea breeze is like making you freeze there.
Really?
Yeah, it's really cold there.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. Now we have to deal with problem solving of the solving of cold. Summertime we deal with solving of heart.
Be hot tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, even 2 days.
Yeah. Well, I think this weather like for us. Our mind go up here, down here, up here, down here. Anyway, it's a wonderful, great opportunity to we all come together to pray, to study, to learn some Dharma words. It's very important. Whenever we learn something, try to practice. Study book, they live there, we step behind that a little bit, not very useful. Try to how much you can, day by day. Okay? It's not easy, but study a little bit, day by day, month by month. Don't stop, go slowly, slowly. Then one day we will, achieve the goal. Therefore, I think we all already have very good knowledge about Buddha Dharma Sangha. The second problem is we don't really practice. Therefore, when we have some difficult situation, we couldn't control our mind. Therefore, you really practice, you really understand your own experience. It's really helpful for when we have some difficult situation. No, I'm not saying we have this difficult situation, but when you get angry, delusions always create the problems. Therefore, try to, understand. Also, check when you talk, when you send a message. Usually you don't check but something's serious. You say you have some doubt, oh, can I say this? Not. That time you check your motivation, is good or not good, to other side. Buddha says very skillful. Buddha gives 3 different teachings. Sometimes he says everything exists inherently. Sometimes he says not exist inherently. Now we say which one's right? Is Buddha lie? It's not. Because Buddha knew the situation or the audience. Audience. Know what they mind. Just first of what they believe, what they exist. First he said, okay, You teach them. Then they will study more and more. Then they have a lot of thought. Then with a jump, second step. Okay. Yes, I said that, but this means like that. It's not means like that. Therefore, this is very skillful, when you're very skillful, if you yell at people, they don't really understand you yelling. When they try to have Kampa, Vitsang, and Amdo. It's Kampa, I'm the Kampa. If you talk nicely, it looks like you're fighting. If you talk nicely, they use the words, some, accent or something. Yeah, even you talk about luck, you're fighting. Then Vitsang, even you yelling, you don't really know if they yelling or not. If they know, they all Vitsang, they know you yelling. If we looking, if they fighting each other yelling, but we really don't know if they're yelling or they're just talking nicely. Even they very yeah, like respect, like they use the words very nicely, They were, when you talk to if you yell someone, try to yell very nicely. Skillful is very important for all the time, any time. And then the purpose study dharmas are we always mention this. To happy mind, to relax the mind. We don't need to think about future, past, future life. It's just if you think this is good or bad, just this life, like a comfortable person. Accept good things, accept bad things. If you accept things, then you have no problem. But a lot of problems we don't accept, then we have a problem, right? We say, oh, I don't like that, or I don't want to do that. You couldn't accept that thing. Then also, that means if something bad happens, you have to accept that whatever they say, not like that. You can deal without angry, without emotionally. Okay? Then, I think Westerns are very fast to read the books. But study Buddhism is not who's fast, who's slow, who's slowly. You read, think again. You read, think again. Not I finish 5 books. It doesn't work. People bring 5, 10 books. I already read all the books. Yes, maybe you really read that. We didn't really practice. Some lamas, they read the 1 page, then they stop the book, then they just thinking, how they walk, how this way, how do this way, how do this way. Then when you're really thinking, then you really accept your mind, then it's very stable, right? Like, things, technology things, you guys very export things, then you say, okay, if you do this, this happens. If you do this happens. If you click here, this happens. You already know, therefore you have no mistakes. Then, if someone told you really didn't know, then you taught it, but it's not really work. Therefore, experience is very important. Therefore, try to slowly, day by day. Okay? Try to do our best. I'm not saying you guys are not good. Or you all good, but not enough good. Not enough good for. When we achieve enlightenment, then already we all sight. I said, we already sight. They are perfect. All sight. Then we say, all sight. I don't need to any more practice. Enter there, there were so many books, so many texts. They all purpose to load but subdue our mind in a different way, with different methods. Therefore, I know all you guys very fast to read the books, but not enough to thinking about, checking. Not slow. Then if someone asks you something, maybe this, not like that. You know, this upper, right? You really visited them, then someone said, what's the definition of that? They say, oh, maybe that. Then you learn that. Or maybe that. Because they should you not really practice. You read a lot, or you hear many things that your mind really decide, oh yeah, that's it. If you really, you can discussion or you know, check, debate yourself, then you really step up. Otherwise, someone says, what's the definition of bodhicitta? Or maybe like that. Someone says, what is the, you know, identify angry? So like that kind. Someone says, what is the antidote to angry? Oh, maybe patience, maybe loving kindness. I don't know, ritual. No. Therefore, they shows our we learned, we don't think really it's work or not. Okay? Yes.
So then,
you hands.
how do you suggest that we, I guess, read the books? For example, right now we're doing Liberation of the Palm of Your Hand.
Yeah.
But I really love the Bodhisattva's Way of Life.
Yeah.
So, is it better to kind of put the Bodhisattva's Way of Life down and take this book and read, as we're reading it, keep on going over it for the whole week, and then just follow the class? Or is it okay to read a book that we really like ourselves and only do this one time a week?
You don't need to come in, man. I say, this I'm all the time read. This is just one thing, not like that. You know, you can read the Bodhisattva way. Also, you can like join with this. You know, this is I think we have a little bit problem for Westerns also. Usually, you guys are very smart and understand that, but Buddhism you have to. Buddhism all the books correct. Related to each other. They say that, oh, this is their side, this is not related. If you say Tantra in the Sutra, you say, oh, this is Tantra Sutra, but they're all related. Without Sutra, they're not Tantra. Right? Then we say, oh, Mahayana, Hinayana. Without Hinayana practice, foundation, they're not Mahayana. Therefore, all relate each other. Then we say, this is lam-rim, this is Bodhisattva. It's different books. Yes, it's different books, but they all relate each other. For Bodhisattva was what?
So it's all talking about bodhicitta, right? Whether it's in the Great Treatise way of life or it's in the liberation in the palm of your hand. So it's a bodhicitta, so that's what the main thing is talking about, and it's all talking about achieving enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. So right now we're talking about, in the context that we're talking about in this book right now, is about 10 non-virtuous actions. So now you have to kind of integrate these two subjects. And how do you integrate 10 non-virtuous actions, abandoning of 10 non-virtuous actions with bodhicitta? So first one is killing, right? Killing is is taking life of other. In other words, is harming other beings, right? And so by understanding the disadvantage of killing, then you don't kill, and you stop yourself from killing, you abandon killing, and that becomes a virtuous action. So when you kill other beings, you don't care about their life, you harm their life, and so you're not caring about their life, right? So not caring about them. But when you abandon killing, understanding that, oh, this is harmful to them, I should not harm them, then you're thinking about others. So then it becomes related with bodhicitta.
아마 찔라 보기 주에 봤더니 아마도 보기 찔라 세원지 쨌나 먹이와 째대 용도 용서요 말이야.
And then, so eventually, so first you understand that, and then later you say, oh, okay, because they have been very kind to me, so therefore, and they're not only that, but they have been my mother, therefore, and I should not harm. And so with that thought, when you generate bodhicitta, then there's no way you will be able, and you will be creating any of the 10 non-virtuous actions.
도신 파트 처럼 되어요. 배차샤나 공주님보 샴바레스로. 근데 공주님이나 저반도 그랬어. 근데 님보도 님이 세트 가요. 그래서 백에 해도 좋아나. 근데
공무기 님보다 님보다 없어.
당으로 지가 받치면 님이 님보 많이 지켜줘요. 제단지와. 근데 샴바데 공부 님보로 그랬어. 님에 대해 아니 저차고 그랬어. 근데 나 샴바데 공부 님보래서.
So, for example, there's an antidote and what's a direct antidote. Direct antidote and antidote. There's a little bit difference. So, whatever practice you do, whatever virtuous practice you do, can become an antidote, to a non-virtuous action, right? So any kind of non-virtuous action. But for a particular non-virtuous action, there has to be a particular virtuous action to be a direct antidote to it. So, for example, like loving kindness is an antidote, to anger. So if you have loving kindness towards somebody, maybe you will not get that angry, But the direct antidote, to the anger is the patience. So the only way you can really overcome the anger is by being patient. And then of course, all these delusions, right? So we're talking about the root of the delusion, the self-grasping ignorance. And so the direct antidote to the self-grasping ignorance will be the wisdom realizing selflessness.
Okay, that is saying, okay. Now we start going to here, okay? That dealing also, that because of Magiwa Cheding Muslim Savares, that is a general Chava, that is all Magiwa Chelayani, and ta Shavala Shuna, and Nipa Chetakari, did Chuma the Kagari, and the Kanka Restico was.
And so now we're going to go to our book and then discuss about those 10 non-virtuous actions of this context, right? So we're talking about the 10 non-virtuous actions. What are the 10 non-virtuous actions? We have already talked about them. What, how does it become heavy? How does it become light, and so forth, right? So if you create non-virtuous action, whether that non-virtuous action become really heavy or light depends on other things that's associated with that non-virtuous action.
Shedanga Jumi Jusum Chanatana, language to pass, language to
So there's actually, for the action to be completed, first you have to have the preparation, then you have the actual action, then you have the completion. So if you have all these three, then the action has completed. So the 10 non-virtuous action, in some teaching it says that it's very easy for us to create the non-virtuous action, and the non-virtuous action that we create will become perfect. But the virtuous action that we create it's very difficult to become perfect. Some part will be missing, so it's always difficult for the virtuous actions. But Geshe is saying that the non-virtuous actions most of the time is also not complete in a way it's described here. If you have that, if you don't have that, if some part of it is missing.
Okay, that is what
So here he's talking about the difference that make for heavy or light karma, right? And then here he talks about the 6 different ways it is kind of evaluated. So the first, whether it's heavy or light, by nature itself. And so by nature itself, you can say, oh, that's very heavy and that's very light.
doing the song. This one, Tamala, and Nama Chiwada Shimashima Yawar is Namamata, Sochiba Majima Malong, Tambozo, Jay, Shimata the Yang is.
So here it talks about the first 7 of the 10 non-virtuous actions. The 7 common actions of the body and speech range from the heaviest first, killing, to the lightest last and of all. So, the killing is heavier, then the stealing is a little bit lighter, and sexual misconduct is even lighter, and then telling lie and divisive speech, harsh word, and then idle gossiping.
그래서 코로나를 되게 시단 코로 양아를 깨기 좀 말했어. 코로나를 봐도 양주시는 도 시야 그랬어.
So when you compare the killing and stealing, killing by nature is heavier. By nature is heavier, but again, because of the other things associated with that, one other can become heavier than one.
다 그러나 진로는 대답이 나는데 바로 볼라 동아 체중 저도 봐 뒤에라 때라 지는 저거 바로 볼라 동아 체중라 때는 지는 저거 그래서 근데 배나 소치 받다에 다 나로 심지 술로 쏘이면 다 소리 개체중에다 대체바나 다 체중도 메워서 자다 아니 동아 체중도 와서 소치 받다 먹이와 지나네 파 거기서 도마나 소치 받다 다 두바 치야지 또 그래서 뭐거니
So how do we check whether it is heavy or not by nature is depending on how much suffering it causes to others. So if you kill somebody, that causes more suffering than stealing their possession, right? So taking their life will be more suffering, for them than taking their possession. So therefore, killing is considered as heavier by nature.
그러나 시단만주 소속 잘하면 루타도 말았어. 다 대금말은 나 징이라로. 다 지내니 장인들 말 맞는 게 저랑 세글나 저는 기유라 그러었어.
So usually, of course, we cherish our possessions so much, and we're willing to go through, some extent of suffering, like fighting and getting injured and so forth to protect them. But if we're at the point, where somebody's about to kill us, and says, "Give me this thing, or otherwise I'll kill you," with a gun on the head, then you will say, "Oh yeah, you take my things." So you prefer to have the things taken than their life.
근데 나도 잘라도 손이나 쓰다시나 소대 다치엔다 소체발 디바 체리 권이나 체리스라 그래서.
So which one is more valuable for us, is the life than the possession. So therefore, taking life is more or heavier by nature.
그래서 시단 봐주고 잘라 그마저 존나 다 되어 되고 심으려 봐서나 권이 너무이나.
Of course, stealing others' possession is also negative karma. It's a heavy negative karma. But when you compare with the killing, it's a little bit lighter.
예? 대지. 다는 섬을군의 제약이 잡아요. 다들 차상을 두고 지르는데 다들 니들로 그래서 와. 가지.
And then in terms of the heavy, because of the intention, right? So because of the intention that you have to engage in that action, it can make heavier or lighter.
그러나 섬을군이 꿀는 용어도 좀강 슈치바담지 뒤가 딱 걸어. 거는 대체는 전에 나 봐줘라 녀모도 좀 쇼트라고 그나는데 특들하고 마와이나 아니 내가 코너라고 특들하면은 시동 특들도 고 야와이나 양 삼백근이 고 전부 자동 말해 들어와.
So then it says when the intention is due to a very strong delusion by the non-virtuous using insulting words, for example by nature, light. As when one says, "You mangy old dog," and so forth, then it can become heavier if you say it. If you don't say it with a strong hatred or anger, then it doesn't become that much of insulting to that person. So when you yell at somebody, do you yell out of very strong anger?
But you got maybe not yell, right? Because yell. You go to India, they can yell all families each other. No, they yell very loud. But maybe this way, maybe not. Maybe you yell like this. More quietly, you don't want people see you yelling, just yelling each other. In India, also the Tibetans, their culture, we yell, we yell. got chub in it,
You can hear across the river.
You know, when kids yell each other, you know, the other kids out of the other side of the river, we see and we yell each other very loud. Anyway, then the you must that trouble can only energy part of 600 hours. Can I have a moment of the land or can I check it out Lavina, Pemizzi go, the Pachamasana race.
So again, out of strong delusion, like anger or hatred, if you say call somebody mangy old dog, then it becomes very heavy negative karma.
The song was subject to and the Sanji Jumden the and the Nada Namato, Suju Kansa Kansa Tesum, Soto Bantoyo, Soto Mayo, the subject of
So it is very important to not judge other people by the way they act or the way they look and so forth, because we never know who other person is, because we don't know ourselves. So Buddha said, only a person like me can judge other people. If others try to do that, they will be degenerated. They will degenerate. And so Buddha, of course, knows what exactly other person is. So then he can tell. But we, because we don't know the other person, who the other person is, could be a bodhisattva, could be an ordinary being. And if we say something bad and happens to be a bodhisattva, then it's going to be very heavy negative karma for us. So it says that if you happen to scold or use a harsh word towards somebody who happens to be a bodhisattva, then you will destroy a merit accumulated during like 1,000 eons. So not knowing that the other person is bodhisattva, if we happen to say something bad or use a harsh word towards that person, then all the work and the hard works that we engaged in, to create those merit for 1,000 eons will be all gone. So bodhisattvas can manifest in many different kind of forms, as a Buddhist, non-Buddhist, as human beings, animals, and so forth. So you never know, just by looking at them, whether they're bodhisattva or not. So Buddha can also manifest like a bridge, if it can benefit other sentient beings. So just because the other person is not Buddhist, you cannot say, oh, that cannot be bodhisattva. It can still be bodhisattva, so you never know what form they're going to manifest in or emanate as. So we should be always very careful about our actions towards other beings.
Okay?
And so if you engage in the same action, but one with a very strong intention, like delusions, the attachment, anger, ignorance, and so forth, the other one then that action becomes heavier than the other action. And then again, in terms of the deeds, in terms of your action. And it says here, an example of this is killing sadistically. So if you kill somebody by torturing them so much, then that becomes more heavier negative karma than killing with less suffering. And also it says about the size of the body, because beings with the bigger body has a bigger suffering. And it says that it's a heavier sin than killing an insect. Killing an animal with a huge body or with a great physical sting, and it's a bigger sin because they experience greater suffering.
근데다 아데 조회권이 지나다 조회권이 간지 파서라 동안 망보 같을 때 왔던지 아니 그때 조다 조고 제쳐서 그래서 배차저가 날 lumba 가시라 땅으로 나와래 너 배와다 근데 저당 무서 아니 매체 마시거니 매다는 사와던도 근데 뭐다 조원이 거니 지고 사와서 그래서 뭐거는 소치 맞아 그 뭐거는 지고 와서 다 조회 아니 곧동안 나그 때와다 조고 사서 그래서
And it says here that in some land they burn live frogs, poultry, and insects. And so that happens in this country also, right? So you have people eat all these different kind of seafoods, sea animals, cooked alive, and so that's more heavy negative karma. So because it gives a lot of suffering to them, cooking them alive, and then the killing itself, is a heavy. So that way. By nature and by action, it becomes very heavy.
No,
and some, the animals killed very easily, right? That they shoot them, at a certain point, and then they die immediately. And that's maybe less suffering. And then some place, they stab the animal and then let it, run around for like an hour or something, for it to die, slowly. And but that's because of a cultural reason or some other, reason they do that. So that's more suffering, right? So that way they suffer more, and then that will become heavier negative karma. So this kind of actions like killing, with a lot of torture, becomes heavy by deed and by nature also. Lobster. So I haven't, seen it myself, but I heard that people, when they order lobsters, they cook them alive, and they have a boiling water, and then they put into boiling water alive, and they, you can hear the lobster screaming sometimes. So that kind of action, would be very heavy by nature and by action. And so of course we don't do it here. I mean, none of us maybe here do it, but because it is written here, so that's why I have to explain it. And it says heavy because of the basis. And so here it says heavy is an example to cast dirty looks at karmically potent beings such as one's guru, ordained master, bodhisattva, member of sangha, parents, and so forth. So, if you cast dirty looks at them, at your parents or at your guru, then that becomes negative, very heavy negative karma by the basis. And so because these beings, are the objects towards whom we become angry, or towards whom we cast dirty look and so forth, right? So these beings are very kind to us, especially our parents for this life, right? They give birth to us and raise us and so forth. So they have been very kind, in this life. And then like our gurus and the ordained master or teachers, who give us the knowledge, which can be beneficial for this life and for the future lives. And therefore, they're very, very kind to us, right? So such kind of beings, if we do something bad to them, then it becomes a heavy negative karma by basis. So here it says cast a dirty look. What does that mean?
When you look at someone really angrily and you're like, facial expression is like, seriously?
How you look? Like this?
Yeah. I would assume that it refers to hand gestures as well.
No, this is what we're referring to eye.
Yeah, this one eye.
So I don't know. I mean, this is like it's interesting, right? The way it's said in English is cast a dirty look. That can be different, but in Tibetan, what it means is like
Yeah.
the same thing. Yeah. Okay. So that's what looking like, with your crooked eyes. With a disagreement or dislike.
And then,
Oh yes.
also,
Oh my God.
나도 가서나 밤아서 잡서 보고서 미모모 너마로나 보고 가만히나 나 열지나야 밑에서 쉬어 야외 말아 갈래 밀로시다 나다 저 야외 정전 라 보고 그랬어.
So when parents, they take their children, in the group with many people, then in the group you don't want to scold the child or, do any hand gesture, and so they just give that a dirty look, and then the child will know, oh, I better behave, otherwise when I get back home and I'll be getting.
어디 다 되게 보고 다니고 그 멜카마 가지고 셔던게 보고 다니고 다 지단도 그 막이 오르들어 봐. 다 보고 다니는 나도 이제 지안 공화 거라야 샴바니 이제 보도 야봄 가로 보도 야봄이 와서 다가 가가로 왔다 다.
Yeah, it depends on your intention. Why are you looking at that, right? So if you look at it with a dislike, then it's different. Like in this case, when you do that, to your kid, maybe it doesn't become because you're doing that, to, tell him that, oh, you better behave,
보고도 야보야 오시더래 봤어. 다
So it's for the welfare of the child. So I think that in that case maybe not bad. But if you're giving that look, to your teacher, to your parents, then it's not good.
그러와 간나한테 그 막이 와줘요. 그 샘티니 그 간나 보고도 야보 영어도 이제 들리고 그런 거 말아왔어. 그런 거 만드네. 아니 만들면 남기로 땡기러 왔어.
So when you do that, to the child, you do that out of your, compassion or care for the child. But, with the others, maybe you don't do that, So then it becomes non-virtuous action. Yes.
Therefore, you can look like you girls. It's okay. Motivation is always good. Yeah, you always usually the Buddhism's motivation is very big. And the Kurukulla then should the other dog was. Tenley 가디나 sabzuchego kechimushiraje ani 나도 toba sun도 toba 마하고 문도 같은데다 근데 toba 소소 toba 소소가 toba 토질 미다 밀로타 칭 베르다는 나 디바 모상도 와서
So it's very important, that how we do that and with what intention we do it, and also depending on who the other person is. Can become heavy or light native karma because of not knowing who the other person is. It could be bodhisattva or not. But if it happens to be bodhisattva and you give a dirty look to that person, then it's native karma.
배차샤와나 만족이 배나 심진 수수고 세리가 밤마다 대마이가 심진 인자다로 받쳐서 임받지. 디나니 다가로 술로 받쳐나 배차나 파지 수수고 세리 밤마로 받쳐나 배가서로 와서 그런 무잖아. 인지 문제를 지는 배우였습니다. 뒤는 그 수치에서나 소속 밤아 될 지원을 봐시 제거서로 와서 거리 제조잖아요.
So, when you're benefiting other beings, you create more merit benefiting your parents than just benefiting other beings. Although it's good, that you're benefiting both of them, but because of the kindness that they have given to you in this life, therefore, by nature, benefiting your parent is more meritorious.
어떻게 다 디다도 시비 쟁여와 가디는 제대로 다 디기 쳐가나 디다도 시비 쟁여와다 아니 망쳤다와도 가디는 제대로 디다도 시비 코드 받쳐자로 그래서.
And so, like he says, then they're happy because of always being done, because of doing it repeatedly all the time, right? And this is idle gossip, for example, is happy because one is always doing it.
조조 나도 조조 되셔면도 대시에 되셔면도
So most of you are very busy with your life that you don't have time for gossiping, right? If you had, you would be gossiping a lot.
Usually in the Tibetan tradition, the Palamaras, they don't need to do any, things to their own family. That a lot of people come together, then they can talk a lot of gossips. I think here also, you go to the Middle Game Mall, the lot of old guys, women come there. I think they're sinners. They talk all the time, like that. Maybe there's also something make that some keep company, but sometimes we make very emotion, like argument.
So yeah, so other times it makes them to get angry, jealous, and so forth, and it becomes a cause for having more jealousies and so forth. Therefore, it is bad. And so then it is heavy because no antidote has been applied. See, so when you create something bad, and if you don't feel sorry or anything, and then you just create, then it becomes heavy. And you're doing it without any antidotes, and then it becomes heavy. And this is there are 1 to 6 type of heaviness involved in any action, casting dirty look at a bodhisattva when one is very angry, for example, or killing an animal sadistically, both incur 2 heavinesses. So some have this and some have that, but not necessarily everyone have all this. And so it's the casting a dirty look at a bodhisattva, and it becomes heavy by the basis, right? So a special being, and by the action, you're doing the and then motivation and the intention, and so it becomes very heavy from all this perspective, and therefore it becomes really heavy. And then, like we talked about earlier, killing an animal with torturing a lot, it becomes it has 2 heavinesses, right? So it becomes even more heavy because of having more of those heavinesses. So killing it itself is by nature is bad, and then also by action is bad. Killing sadistically. And so somebody who is creating negative karma all the time and doesn't feel bad at all, and then he has these two that is of always creating, the karma always being done, and karma and the action not having applied any antidotes. And then so it says, and all 6 types of heaviness are present if, say, a butcher who always sins and never does anything virtuous get angry with his parents and kill them sadistically. And then all 6 heaviness is there. It's not very likely to happen, but it can happen. So heaviness, what's heavy and what is not, what is heavy and what is light, depend on these things. So it can be heavy by nature, heavy by the action, but heavy by the basis, and so forth. Right? And so, for same can be applied to the virtuous action. And so the virtuous action can become more powerful, if you have, this like a proper basis. In terms of the basis, like doing the practice in the temple, is more meritorious than just doing it outside and so forth. And something that you do all the time, like your daily commitments, and you do it all the time, therefore it becomes more powerful. And so if you create all virtuous actions all the time and don't create any non-virtuous actions, then that's even better. Meditating on bodhicitta, of course, anytime meditating on bodhicitta is good, but if you are doing it all the time, then it's more powerful. So because of done all, and then if you do it, with the other actions like prostrations, general states and so forth, then it becomes even more powerful because of having other things together. So from this we can understand that it's very important to be careful about who do we get angry towards and not. Normally we should not get angry at all because we never know who the other person is. Can be bodhisattva, can be Buddha and so forth. So without knowing, we may end up creating a very heavy native karma. So therefore, it's always be conscientious about not creating these native karmas. So we don't create, I don't think we normally create non-virtuous actions such as killing, right? We don't do something very bad and all the time, and we don't do it, and we don't do it all the time, and even if we do, then we always, apply some kind of antidote. We feel sorry for that, and we kind of confess or purify in the evenings by, doing some purification practice and so forth. So we don't get all these things, but the intention is very likely to happen because we always have these delusions, right? We have not abandoned them, so that we have followed that all the time. So our native karma can become very heavy because of the intention, having the delusion, delusional thoughts like attachment, anger, and so forth. And then also, then maybe it's likely for us to create native karma and become heavy in terms of the basis, right? So we may say something bad word to somebody, and because we don't know that person is bodhisattva or Buddha, then it can become heavy because of the basis. If you happen to be a bodhisattva or Buddha. And so it's mostly because of not knowing who the other person is. If you know who the other person is, maybe will not happen. And the other thing that contributes to us is that we're not with them all the time, especially with our parents or with our teachers. We're not with them all the time, so it's less likely to create negative karma in relation to them. But we have to be more careful, more conscientious about the people that we associate with them, like our family or our friends and our co-workers with whom we regularly come into contact with. So with them, we have to be very careful.
그래서 그러다가 하고 나 추주는 하고 올래나 미다고도 그냥 또 하고 말아.
So we can say, oh, I know this person, I know him since childhood. But do we really know inside of that person? We don't know. So we never know who that person is.
그래서 아니 자서를 보시게야라. 자서를 mirkan다. 아니 타요요에 매도진다. 끼워다 막 가나요 미치비 내들 힘도 잡아샤고 오세. 아니 남들 단어서는 두신들 나오지 잡으래.
So Joseph Rinpoche, the Lama Tsongkhapa's disciple, advised to be very careful in this point, to this point, because just like the amber that is covered by ashes on the top will not be cannot be seen, so you don't know it is covered by ashes. In the daytime, especially, you don't see the amber or the fire underneath, and you just step on it, and then you get burned. So just like that, you don't know who the holy being is. Just because you see somebody like in some way doesn't mean that person is not a holy being. Could be a holy being, and if you happen to say or do something bad to them, then it becomes very heavy negative karma. So he said to be very careful at this point.
그래서 내가 뭐 좋아라. 나그 야보에 좀 도움이 돼서 그 가려나 그 야보 체험도 그 야보 인사 맛을 내가 여러 왔어.
So and also we can't say people that person is bad just because we see that person is bad. He says, oh, this person is doing all these bad things, and doing all these bad things, and I see them doing all the time, and there's no way this person can be a good person. Can we confirm that? Still not,
근데 산지에 빈자고 산지를 연대 나지 두개 말이죠. 그런 놈들 거든.
So it depends on who the person is also, right? So I myself, if I'm not good, I will not see good in other people, right? And if I don't see, just because I don't see good in that people, because of me not being good, right? It's not that that person really not good, but because of me not being good, I could see the person bad, and I can say, oh, this person is bad that way, this way, and say all these bad things about that person. But the person can be good, and just that I don't see him as good. So just like Buddha is a perfect, right? Buddha is perfect, but his cousin, Devadatta, never saw any perfection in Buddha. So in same like that, So it's not Buddha is imperfect, right? It's the Devadatta who had all these faults, and then therefore you couldn't see the perfection in Buddha. And just can be same, with us also.
대단한 미 집바다 사용이지 나 잘라가래 잘라쳐서 세부로 돈 거였어. 대도도 잘라는 세부 자도 말하고 소중은 있다. 소중을 그랬다. 니버 내정데 자소 말로 소중은 봐.
So just like a person with a jaundice disease, see everything yellowish. Is everything yellowish? No, right? It's the person because of his disease, he sees things yellowish.
어떻게 지내나? 나도 미치게 코로 사와이나. 딱 먼저 밤이를 코로 사와이나. 그래서 다 봐줘도 소소 코로는 ጤ로 오셔서 그랬어. ጤ로.
So if we become angry towards somebody, who do we blame it to? We normally blame it to others, right? To that person, but that person is just in condition. So it's oneself who really became angry, right? So the other person is just a condition, and when you become angry, then that kills our peace of mind. So who does it really harm? When you become angry, not to the other person, but to yourself.
Okay, 다 되는 거래. 다 되는 바지 뭐 나들이 지셔 진로 여서 되는 것도 되는 시작하니 산이나 이들 마야. 아니 너무 진짜 단데 단대원 가래 용거래서 마시기.
And so that's about it for today. I have to go somewhere, and we'll stop here. Next time we'll we'll continue from where we stopped today, talking about the results of these karmas.
Okay.
So there are different kind of results, environmental result, the ripening result, and so forth.
그래서 단 수로 조정 수수 삼로다. 텔레 공장 제거서 봐. 제와체.
and the result corresponding with the cause and so forth. So there are different kind of results, and you might have heard already. But anyway, it's good to study about all these things. Like I said earlier, not just reading, but really studying, contemplating, and meditating on them. And so just like I mentioned earlier about the bodhicitta and then abandoning of the 10 non-virtuous actions, how they are related, and you can relate all the teachings in that way. And so if you arrange, these practices in that form, then it becomes stable in our mind. So some different teachings may explain different ways, but it is it's all to antidote, to apply an antidote to the delusion. So this may be more for this delusion, and this may be for that. That may be for more for that delusions. But at the end, they all are for the delusions. So, like for example, talking about loving kindness and anger. So anger, is bad, right? So that's a hateful thought, towards others, and that that is bad. And understanding that if you apply the antidote, to abandon that, then that is related with the loving kindness. And the loving kindness is the root for generating bodhicitta. So without loving kindness, there's no way you can generate bodhicitta. And so abandoning the anger or hatred and generating loving kindness becomes the cause to generate bodhicitta. So as a parent, you can become angry towards your kids, right? You become angry towards your child. But that anger and the anger that you have towards other people is different, right? So, even though you become angry towards your kids, toward your children, but you still have love towards your children. And so, but when you become angry towards other people, then it's really pure anger. So you don't have any love, kindness for them, and therefore that anger is totally different from getting angry towards your children.
Okay, that Tenley is some tang, and so and to money go on and it
So think in that way, and then debate with yourself or contemplate in that way, and then it will become more stable in your mind.
And then
and so one day when we become free of all the anger, then we'll be very happy all the time. So nobody will be able to disturb us.
Okay? And the Kuru said,
so the anger, or hatred, anger and hatred are the biggest of the non-virtuous actions. And it says there's no bigger sin than anger, and then there's no bigger hardship than patience.
Okay. Okay, now we stop. I think thought some question, there may be no question here. Otherwise, I become late. Okay? Yeah.
It makes perfect sense what you're talking about. We don't know, especially if you encounter a lot of people on a daily basis, you don't know who is or isn't a bodhisattva. But are there some people that we can be sure are not? We can't accept maybe Mao Zedong or Hitler could possibly be a Buddha or bodhisattva. It's just, it completely contradicts that.
He cannot decide decide whether most of them and pillar are bodhisattva or not. You cannot say he's not bodhisattva. Can you say he's not bodhisattva?
Yes. Especially, I mean, Lao Tzu killing Sangha and destroying images of Buddha. How can a bodhisattva destroy other bodhisattvas?
So there could be a reason for
Okay, otherwise it will take too long. Yeah. Wait, your question?
No, I didn't wait.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Please turn to page 39 for Thanksgiving Mandala offering. Saji Purki Juxing Me Top Tram Rira Ling Jin Yi De Gien Padi Sangye Jing Du Ming Te Uwagi Dokun Nam Dak Jing La Chur Pashu Jitsun Lame Kutse Rab Den Ching Nam Ka Trin Le Chuk Chuk Ye Padan Lo Sang Ten Pedron Me Sang Tsum Gi Koe Mun Sel Tak Tu Nek Yur Chik Idam Guru Ratna Mandalakam Niryataya. From my two collections of vast space that I have amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose mind's wisdom I is blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be held in your loving compassion for all my lives, Manjushri. May I find the best of complete graded paths of the teachings, and may I please all the Buddhas by practicing. Using skillful means drawn by the strong force of compassion, may I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings with the points of the path as I have discerned them. May I uphold the Buddha's teachings for a very long time. With my heart going out with great compassion in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread or once spread have declined, may I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted bounteous peace, and the Buddha's deeds be nourished for a long time. By even this graded course to enlightenment completed due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their children. May all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity and make things conducive for practicing the excellent paths never be parted in any of their lives from the purest path praised by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes an effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana virtuous practices, may they always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere. The short long life prayer for His Holiness. In that snow mountain encircled land, source of every benefit and joy, may Lord Tenzin Gyatso Chen Rezig remain in life till samsara's end. Prayer that spontaneously fulfills all wishes. Tong Ying Jing Zundu Ju Pelan Che Che Selze Gong Shen Tendragon Chang Na Pemo Tenzin Gyatso Sowa Debso Jeden Lundru Sho. Page 49, a short long life prayer for Lama Zopa Rinpoche. Tupso Jang Shihim Gangun Yelwei Tenzin Kyong Pelwei Kunzo Do Podze Chok Sum Korwei Legmon Tudru Padak So Dulje Gandu Jab Ten Shu. Page 57, prayer of dedication. Through this virtue may I swiftly, having gained good yen Tsongkhapa, lo san rak pe jab la so wa de. Thank you, Geshe.
Quick announcements or Geshe wants to? Okay, quick announcements. First of all, we've got a big event planned for November 7. It's a music, basically a big celebration for Kurukulla Center. It's also a fundraising event. That'll be on the 7th in the Medford Town Hall. That's a Saturday. And that'll include the raffle for the big laptop and all the handheld devices. It's just, and there'll be tickets. Tickets are $12 now, $15 at the door. We'll be selling them at the same time as we're continuing to sell all our raffle tickets. You can stop me or anyone to find, I don't have those tickets yet, but I can find that out. Next one is event on the 7th, then we've got on the 8th, the Sunday after that, Geshe is kind enough going to be conferring the Forum Chen Rezik that will be during our regular class period. Then we have Family Day coming up this Saturday. Please come along, bring friends, children, bring your own children, come just enjoy the day outside with Geshe. If it's rainy and horrible, it'll be inside, so we don't need a rain date for that. Reiki 1, we've got a new series starting on the 31st. Anyone want to join us, just contact me or contact Pat, but it's in the newsletter, so just reply to that. Got the Jang covered, and then for anyone that can stay, we're continuing our Golden Light Sutra recitations. So if you can stay for half an hour, how long, then we can just get together as a group to ratchet it up. We've slowed down a little bit. Only one came out this week, but I'm also at fault. So I can't point the finger at anyone. So that's it. Any questions? Anything? No? Thank you.